Hello and welcome back to chapter 5, lecture number 36. So we created this tree with the branches, and in the previous lecture we added the weight layer. So we prepared this tree to add some twigs on it. So let's get started. I will go back to the object view and work on the collections a little bit to organize the scene. So we click on nature and then we want a new collection and call this trees. And we want a new collection and call this birch tree. Birch, if you pronounce it right. So, and the birch tree has twig A. So we start like this. So left click on the tree, shift left click on the branches, and move to collection. You go to nature, you go to trees, birch tree. And birch tree. So the tree should be right there. We don't want it. We want to focus on a twig, birch A. So a twig. Let's take a closer look. So I found this twig. I got two versions, and we will use, I think this one is pretty cool as a twig. And I scanned some of these leaves and I put this in sort of a texture file. And what we will do in this lecture is importing this image in the viewport, and we're going to model these. So we do some together and then you continue to do it yourself. So I'm minimizing this image, that one as well. I want to be in the top view. And let's import this image. And there you go. So let's drag this one to the bottom a bit more. So if we import, add mesh plane, there's our plane, it's on top, perfect. And call this, where is it? Leaf, birch, leaf, and move to collection, nature, trees, birch tree, twig, birch A. Wow. So let's pick turn off proportional editing by pressing O, make it smaller, and we move this right there and we make it smaller. So I think this is cool. Go to the wireframe mode, so we have some more, and we're scaling these vertices, and we want to have an extra row there on the bottom. It should be right, and try to stay in the leaf itself. And you can see there are some sharp edges on the leaf. It doesn't matter, you won't touch these in your modeling, because these what I'm doing, I was creating, I have this circle selection. Alright, anyway, doesn't really matter. You extrude it and you scale these. Extrude. And again. And one more time. So we have like this. Option. Great. What I like to do is focus a bit more on the bottom. Right. And we want 1, 2, 3 edge lines, and try to move these on the leaf line in the middle. It's very important. Very important. All right. That should work. There's no reason to extrude this. I like the leaf, how this looks like this. Alright, so we have one version of the leaf, and what we will do is Control L, Shift D, and we start modeling another one. So we make it smaller, and SX to make it thicker, wider, whatever you like to call it, and you just try to measure these base roots. Sometimes you want proportional editing. Turn it off. Oh, you can see it's touching the has effect on the other leaf, so be aware of that. And again, it doesn't really matter. You won't see these edges right there because this leaf will be so small in the viewport, you won't really recognize these anyway. So you can spend a lot of time making it exact, and in the end, you won't see your result. All right. So that was enough. Let's focus on the tip a bit more. Yeah, pretty good. And these should be a bit more centered. Oh, where it's happening. Let's try to drag these. All right. Control L, Shift D. Let's pick this green one. It's the final one we do together. And you can continue doing this yourself. So take a good look how we do that. We select the bottom part and we just scroll through all the ends. And this one looks pretty good already. Pretty good already. Oh, I have this habit of clicking on the right mouse click. Alright. I'm feeling well with this version. So, as I already mentioned, the next one will be yours. So, you copy it, you move to just a random leaf, and you make all different kind of models. Stay in edit mode, we will later on make separated objects from the leaves. Alright, we'll pause the video, and you can continue doing this. So welcome back, and I hope it worked out for you. So this is my creation to select all the types of leaves, and what I like to do is doing some transformation. So before we do touch anything, I want to let you know that I was in the circle selection mode, so I had some weird behavior, and that was because I was in the select circle, and it was kind of hard to turn back, but what you need to do is left click on it, keep your left mouse click select on it, and you turn to select box selection, and that's way more simple. You just left click on these, so you get to know the interface a bit better. All right, so what I like to do is I want to start with making image projection on the leaves. So we go to the material settings, go for new, we want to name this birch leaves. There we go. And we go to the shading. Yeah, we can hide this background image because we don't need it anymore. Left click on it, and let's select to go to add texture, image texture, open, and birch twig, and we click on this image, and we put this in the base color. We duplicate it, and we want to have a roughness, and go for a non-color, and put this in the roughness. I want a specularity of, let's say, I'll leave this for now. We want to tweak this later. Shift D. Yes, we go to add a vector, and we want to have a bump. We do not have a normal map, but what we can do is just fake a normal map by using a black and white image. This black and white you put in the heat, and you decrease the strength to 0.1, and then you put the normal into the normal, and we can take a close look to the material preview. We do not have a preview, of course, so we get there in a minute. So let's go to the wireframe. We select everything, we project an image or the UV coordinates, and we have this, and we want to have the birch image. There you go, birch twig. We scale this. This takes some time to get it right. Turn off proportional editing, you don't want that, and try to measure them a little bit. We have to do some handwork, but some fine-tuning, so this should be good, but we need to zoom in a little bit to just find the right spot. Yeah, it needs to be a bit small. Let's turn it more to the right. Control L, and just about the finishing touch. And I don't know what your stage in Blender is, but in my previous course, I used transparent leaves. So the background was transparent, and it was way simpler to do this work. But there was a very huge downside of this method, that when you started rendering, you had this performance issues. You had to use a lot of transparent samples in the settings, and the final result wasn't that satisfying. But now, when you actually make the mesh and without transparency, the quality and the colors are so much better. Alright, I think this is good. So if we go to the material preview, we have leaves. So we want to see some reflection on to just, okay, there we have it. Look at this. Oh, we're going to go to the shading, and we have to do this again. I hope one day they change that. Okay, so if I put this out, you can see the roughness reflections, but with this bumpy material, look at that, pretty good. And I think we can go with 0.05. Yeah, more specularity. That's exactly what we want. You can even decrease this to 0.02. And about the amount of specularity, that defines what kind of roughness map you have, so it won't have a huge effect. What does have effect is the translucency. So you go to shader, mix shader, there you go. And you want to add a shader translucency, translucent, there you go. We put this in the bottom, and we want to have a color input. There we go. Lower this to 0.4, maybe 2.3, but I'm not quite sure. But this has a very nice translucency effect on the leaves. And you can do some coloring by adding a gamma node and change this to 1.2, and this will soften out the colors a bit, make it a bit brighter, what should have a better translucency effect. But again, we will get back on these settings. This is just a basic setup, but when we have a tree with the twigs, we can define what kind of settings we want to get the best results. It's very almost impossible to do this now in the shader, because you want more information. Good. So we have leaves, we have material. So in the next lecture, we will remove this flat look from the leaves. We will make it more curvy and add some depth on it. And then we will make the twig. So stay tuned, and we go to the next lecture. Bye-bye.